Welcome aboard the portside aircraft elevator ride. Now this trip between hangar deck and flight deck takes 7 seconds, so bend your knees. No, I'm kidding. You might have noticed we're already moving. We've slowed it down a little bit. Doesn't go down in 7 seconds, but that time is real. During the service of the ship between the hangar deck and flight deck, this trip, loaded up with up to 68,000 pounds of aircraft, would take just 7 seconds while the ship is moving, bouncing up and down and side to side with none of these railings here. That's how fast it would be. Now, there are 3 elevators on board. There's a forward aircraft elevator that is now a movie theater, where we show our story of the Intrepid film in the Lutnick Theater. That is the shaft of the forward aircraft elevator. The starboard elevator, the aft starboard elevator is now a nice patio for parties and events and things. And this is the last working one, the port side, the deck side elevator. Now they would not just use these elevators to get the planes back and forth, they would also use them for recreation. In your forward aircraft elevator, playing basketball, playing volleyball, you don't want to do anything like that on your port or starboard elevators because nobody wants to go diving out of bounds for the ball while the ship is still moving and out of bounds is the Pacific Ocean. Now, if you bring the ship to a stop, you can go swimming or diving off your port or starboard elevator. In fact, oftentimes on our modern carriers, we have multiple elevators on one side, so they will, sailors and Marines and airmen and pilots on board will dive off one elevator, swim down to the next one, and climb up a cargo net. That's how they do it on the modern carriers. Now, I've also heard stories of the dental teams on board using their various molds they have for their activities, turning them into clay pigeons and going target shooting on your port or starboard elevator. Now, you might have noticed we're standing on a wooden deck. This flight deck that we've been walking on up on the deck was not the original flight deck. The original flight deck would have been made out of teak wood. From 1943 through 1974, the flight deck of Intrepid was made out of wood. The metal up there was only installed in the 1990s. The armor on the Essex class of carriers, including Intrepid, stops on the hangar deck. That's as high as the armor gets. You have some advantages there. The carrier's a little bit faster, a little bit more maneuverable, a little more flexibility in all the different types of missions that the carrier can carry out over her service. But there's a downside. If you've seen our kamikaze film, which plays every hour on the half hour on the hangar deck, you've seen the downside. You are unprotected, virtually unprotected against bombs and kamikaze attacks. Now, our trip is about to come to a close. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Please watch your step, mind the gap as you exit the elevator. And thank you for listening, and thank you for coming to the Intrepid today. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it would be. They've decided just